Accessing variables in other scripts. Hi, Future Rob again. Sorry about the title. I couldn't think of another way of putting it really. Now, in the last video, past Rob said that we're going to get the enemies to move left and right because at the moment they're kind of just sitting there looking mean, static, which isn't really that challenging. And that will be the next video, but past Rob didn't realize that now we've got two ways of getting points or scores. So by collecting the egg and killing the enemy, and two ways of dying. So falling off things and running into an enemy, it kind of doesn't work out in respect of the techniques we've used for incrementing the score and decrementing the lives. And this video is about showing you how to overcome that problem before you even encounter that problem, if that makes sense. But before we do, my player at the moment, when it jumps, it doesn't jump particularly high, so I don't think it's going to clear my horse, and it takes ages to come back down. So during game time, so obviously you can see I've got the play button pressed. If I click on player and in the inspector, all the details appear on there. And within the rigid body, I'm just going to experiment. Actually, I'm not because I've already tested to see if this works. With the jumping speed, with the gravity scale, with the mass, to see how what that does then. So it falls to the ground a lot better. And it might need to jump a bit higher because, but I'll come back and basically fix that. But you can kind of play around with things here. Now, the issue is when you do press play, and it comes back through the edit mode, then these settings haven't been saved. So you need to put them back in before you forget. And I'm doing them now because I will forget otherwise, and I'm just going to hit save. Right. Now, in terms of scripting, now we have a script on our eggs, which is called item collector. And every time we come in contact with an egg, the score goes up by 100, and then this text box gets kind of gets updated with what the score is. Now, in the last videos, I think I should told you that it needs to be private, the score, which we're going to be talking a bit more about. But can you make sure at this stage that that is set to public and that is saved straight away, and go back onto Unity to make sure it updates on here as well? Because I know if you don't do that, why hasn't that done that? Oh, I think it's done already before the video started, because that will give you problems otherwise. Now the idea is we're going to take some of these lines of code and put them into our destroy enemy text script. So I'm going to take this line, which basically allows me to work with the text boxes we've got set up. I'm also going to take the score text box and put that here as well. And in fact, I'm going to leave a space there because I just want to test if something works. And I'm also going to take these two lines of code. So at the moment, this is the code which makes the score system go up by 100 every time we come in contact with an egg, and it updates the text box for us. Now, every time the player comes in contact with the enemy, as in jumping on his head, I want it to go up by 200. Now, the reason why I've left this space here is because we're going to type in another variable in a moment. Now, you might have noticed that I completely ignored public int score here, and you think, well, surely that's where you take across. But score is set here, and when it's public, it means it should be able to be accessed from any other script we've got. If we kept this private, then it'd basically say, no, you can't. It's only going to be used within this particular code. So the idea is when you click on a variable, it shows you within the code where else it's used, which is a kind of nice tool. But we're not going to be taking this variable across into destroy enemy. We're going to be accessing it. So this line of code I'm going to type here is basically public, and I'm going to give the name of the script we're going to be accessing. So it's the item collector script there. And we're also going to give it a key to be able to get into it. So I've typed in item collector just for my own kind of sanity, really, in terms of I know what that refers to when I use it within the code. So the idea is now, with this item collector key, wherever I've got score, so I've got it here, I've got it here, and I've got it here, which I'm accessing from here, from the item collector script, that is, I need to put the key in front of that to be able to access that score. And the idea behind this is if the score says, for example, is already 300 because I've collected 3 eggs, then this will add 200 to that 300. And if you kind of didn't do this, you'd see for yourself that it kind of just doesn't work right at all. So I'm going to save that. I don't think I need to save anything in item collector now. And I'm going to come back onto Unity, and fingers crossed we don't have any error messages. Question is, do I pause at this point? 10 seconds, 11. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? That was good. Now, no error messages at this point. I am a bit apprehensive because I've tried to do this a few times today and it didn't quite work. But we've got our score text box, so we need to make sure that that text box is dragged across to here. And just to say, I've clicked on sheep top because this is where the destroy enemy script is. So I drag across item collector. Oh, why won't it let me do that? Oh, that's why, because item collector, it's actually on our player. So what we need to do, I either drag across player, or if I'm a bit smarter, I click on the dots and double click player, and that should be okay. So let's see what happens now when I play now. So like I said, the idea is I collect an egg, I get 100 points, and then when I jump on the sheep top to kill the sheep, that score should increment by 200. So with my massive big brain maths, it should go up to 300 over in the top right hand corner. It did, yay! Right, so the same thing needs to be done on our Falling Death. So where we've got lives, and we've got the lives text box, and we've got lives minus minus one, and also on, that needs to be brought into our destroy player. So like just we did with item collector and destroy enemy, you'll need to copy across this code. You'll also need to bring across that line as well. You'll also need to bring across these lines, but then you will need yourself, like we did in the destroy enemy script, you'll need to make a reference to the falling death script, give her a key, and make sure the key is in front of all of the lives which will be appearing in your destroy player code. On to enemy patrol next.